You didn't find this video by accident. You've been searching, haven't you? Not just for techniques or tactics, but for something deeper, an understanding of why you feel invisible, why your efforts seem to evaporate into indifference, why other men seem to possess something you can't name. You're tired of the performance, the pretending, the hollow advice that treats human connection like a transaction. There's a reason you're here at this exact moment. Your psyche is calling you toward a truth that most men will never confront, a truth about desire that has nothing to do with what you say or how you look. This video is not about manipulation. It's about becoming. And if you're ready to face what you've been avoiding, then this message is for you. K.L. Jung once wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." He understood something that our modern world has forgotten. Desire is not created. It is alchemized. It emerges not from strategic behavior, but from the presence of a man who has confronted his own darkness, a man who has integrated his shadow. New called it becoming who you are. The Greeks called it aret, the full realization of your potential. Every ancient tradition points to the same truth. You cannot attract depth until you have descended into your own depths. A woman does not desire a man who performs attraction. She desires a man who embodies wholeness, and wholeness only comes through the painful work of self-confrontation. Most men fail not because they lack technique, but because they lack selfhood. They are fragments, personas, masks worn to hide the void within. And women sense this void immediately, not consciously, but instinctively. The same way prey animals sense a predator's hesitation. What follows are the stages of transformation, the journey from fragmentation to integration, from invisibility to magnetic presence. The first truth you must confront is this: your neediness is not a character flaw, it is a wound. Most men approach women from a state of lack. They seek validation, completion, proof of their worth. And women recoil from this energy, not because they are cruel, but because neediness is the shadow of self-abandonment. You learned early that your value was conditional, that love was something you had to earn through achievement or compliance or invisibility. You learned to abandon yourself, and now you seek a woman to fill the void where yourself should be. Jung called this projection. You project onto her thema the idealized feminine that you have exiled from your own psyche. You make her responsible for your wholeness. But here is the paradox. The moment you need her to desire you, you become undesirable. Desire flows toward completeness, not toward emptiness, seeking to be filled. This is why the men who seem effortlessly attractive are not performing confidence. They have done the work of reclaiming their worth from external validation. They have metabolized the wound. They have looked into the abyss of their perceived inadequacy and said, "Even if no woman ever desires me, I will become who I am meant to be." This is not arrogance. It is individuation. And it creates a gravitational pull that no tactic can replicate. The shadow here is your belief that you are fundamentally unworthy, that there is something wrong with you at your core. You must confront this belief, sit with it, feel its full weight, and then ask yourself, what if this belief is a lie installed by a world that profits from your insecurity? The second stage is the most painful. It is the death of the persona you constructed to be loved. You learn to be nice, agreeable, accommodating. You learn to suppress your anger, your desire, your raw masculine energy. You believed that if you were good enough, patient enough, understanding enough, she would finally see your worth. But she didn't. And the rage you feel, the rage you're ashamed of, is actually pointing you toward your imprisoned, authentic self. Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Your resentment toward women who friend-zone you is actually resentment toward yourself for abandoning your truth. The nice guy is not nice. He is a contract written in invisible ink. I will suppress my needs and desires, and in return, you will owe me attraction. But attraction is not a debt to be collected. It is a response to authenticity. The shadow you must integrate here is your disowned aggression, your boundaries, your capacity to say no, your willingness to be misunderstood or rejected. Nietzsche wrote, "You have your way. I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist." A man who knows his way is attractive because he provides direction in a world of chaos. A man who abandons his way to walk beside a woman, hoping she will reward his self-sacrifice, becomes a burden she must carry. Women are not attracted to men. They must mother. They are attracted to men who are on a mission that matters more than her approval. This does not mean cruelty. It means clarity. It means occupying your masculine center so fully that her presence enhances your life rather than defines it. The transformation happens when you stop performing niceness and start embodying integrity. When your yes means yes and your no means no, when you can hold space for conflict without collapsing into appeasement or explosion. This is the integrated masculine, and it is magnetic. The third truth is subtle but devastating in its implications. Most men are not present. They are lost in their heads, rehearsing, strategizing, monitoring their performance for signs of approval or rejection. A woman experiences this as a kind of abandonment. You are physically present, but psychologically absent. She cannot feel you, and desire is not intellectual. It is felt. Jung spoke of participation mystique, a state of merged consciousness where boundaries dissolve and two beings experience resonance. This is only possible when you are fully inhabiting your body. When you have descended from the tyranny of your thinking mind into the wisdom of your embodied presence, most men attract in what Jung called the provisional life. They are waiting for circumstances to change before they fully show up. When I have more money, then I'll be confident. When I lose weight, then I'll be attractive. When I understand women, then I'll take risks. But life is now, and she is responding to who you are in this moment, not who you promised to become. The shadow here is your dissociation, your habit of abandoning the present moment because it feels unsafe or inadequate. You must practice returning to your body, to your breath, to the raw sensory experience of being alive. When you speak to a woman, are you truly listening, or are you waiting for your turn to perform? When you look at her, are you seeing her, or are you seeing your projection of what she might think of you? Presence is the foundation of charisma, and charisma is simply the felt experience of someone who is fully here. This requires practice, meditation, somatic work, the gradual dissolution of the protective armor you built to survive. But the reward is profound. You become the space in which others can relax, can feel safe, can open. And in that opening, desire becomes possible. A woman cannot surrender to a man who is not present enough to catch her. The fourth stage is the reconciliation of opposing forces within you. John called this the union of masculine and feminine energies. Logos, the principle of order, direction, penetration. Eros, the principle of connection, flow, receptivity. Most men have overdeveloped one at the expense of the other. You are either all logos rigid, controlling, unable to play, or all eros passive, shapeless, unable to lead. A woman desires a man who can hold both, who can provide structure and direction while remaining emotionally available and present. This is the integrated animus, the inner keyed animus, the inner king who rules with wisdom rather than tyranny. The shadow here is your fear of your own desire. Your sexuality has been pathologized. You have learned to apologize for your masculine hunger. But desire is not predatory when it flows from wholeness. It is a gift, an offering of your vitality. A woman does not want a man who is afraid of his own fire. She wants a man who has integrated his fire so fully that he can share its warmth without burning her. This means owning your sexuality without shame or aggression. It means being able to express interest without collapsing when she declines. It means understanding that your desire for her is not a burden she must carry. It is an invitation she is free to accept or refuse. The masculine provides the container. The feminine provides the container. The feminine provides the content. But if your container is rigid with control or collapsed with neediness, there is no space for the dance of attraction to unfold. You must become spacious, strong enough to hold tension without resolution, patient enough to let desire build rather than rushing toward outcome. The ancient towers understood this. They spoke of effortless action, not passivity, but action that flows from alignment with the natural order. In attraction, this means creating opportunities for connection and then allowing her agency, not manipulating, not forcing, trusting that if there is resonance, it will emerge. And if there is not, you will survive the disappointment because your worth is not contingent on her approval. This is the dance of integrated polarity, and it is the essence of magnetic attraction. The final stage is the most important. You must have something more important than her. Not to play games, not to create artificial scarcity. But because a man without purpose is a man without center, and a man without center is invisible, Jin said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." What is your work in this world? What are you building? What pain are you transmuting into beauty or service or truth? If your answer is, "I don't know," then your first mission is to discover your mission. A woman of depth does not want to be your mission. She wants to be chosen by a man who already has one, because she knows that a man who makes her his purpose will eventually resent her for the weight of his unlived life. The shadow here is your purposelessness, the comfortable despair of distraction, the video games and pornography and endless scrolling that protect you from the terror of becoming. You must face this terror. You must choose a direction even if you cannot see the destination, and you must walk that path with such commitment that you would continue even if no woman ever joined you. This is not martyrdom. It is self-authorship. And there is nothing more attractive than a man who is authoring his own story. When you are on your path, you emit a frequency, a coherence, a sense of direction in a world of drift, and certain women will feel that frequency and move toward it. Not because you executed the perfect technique, but because you became someone worth moving toward. This is the paradox. The less you need her, the more she desires you. Not as a game, but as a natural consequence of your wholeness. So here is what you must understand. You do not learn to make a woman desire you. You become the kind of man who is desired. And that becoming is not a performance. It is an excavation. You must descend into your shadow, confront your wounds, integrate your disowned parts, reclaim your presence, define your mission. This is the hero's journey jungle mapped for us. The call to adventure is not out there. It is in here in the unmapped territory of your own psyche. Most men refuse the call. They stay in the comfort of complaint and fantasy. They blame women. They blame society. They blame their genetics or their childhood. But you are here because some part of you knows the truth. The only way out is through. Through the shame, through the rage, through the grief of all the years you abandoned yourself. And on the other side of that descent is not guaranteed romantic success. Life offers no such guarantees, but you will have something far more valuable yourself. You will have become whole, integrated, present. And from that place, attraction is not something you create. It is something you allow. This work is not easy. It requires honesty that our culture no longer values. It requires solitude when everyone else is seeking distraction, but it is the only work that matters. If you are ready to continue this journey into the depths of your own psyche, to confront the shadows that have kept you invisible, subscribe to this channel, not for entertainment, but for transformation. The path of individuation is walked alone, but it does not have to be walked in isolation. There are others seeking the same truth, the same integration. Join us. The descent has just begun.